The humid evening breeze drifted through the narrow streets of Oyolegba, carrying the familiar smell of roasted corn dust, hot metal, and restless Lagos noise as Ada adjusted the fading market bag slung over her shoulder, her back aching from the long day and the weight of her baby girl Niana tied securely to her back with a worn-out Ankara cloth that had once been bright, but now looked like it had fought too many battles with the Lagos sun. At only 23, Ada already felt the weight of life pressing on her like a sack of gari she never volunteered to carry, hustling every day under a faded umbrella by the Oyolegba bus stop where she sold thrift clothes to people who priced like merchants in a drought, while her dream of becoming a nurse faded little by little beneath the noise of Damphus and the shouts of impatient conductors. Business had been terrible that day, and Nena had been crying from hunger, her tiny voice cracking like dry wood, forcing Ada to scrape together the little coins she had for pap, all while the landlord's warning from that morning echoed in her head. "If you no pay today, I go lock that door," a threat she knew he was fully capable of carrying out. With her hands sweaty and her mind tired, Ada picked up her cracked phone to send him a voice note begging for more time. But exhaustion betrayed her. The phone slipped from her fingers, hit the wet ground, lit up, and the voice note sent before she could even blink. She hissed and bent quickly to pick it up, not bothering to replay the message, not knowing it hadn't gone to her landlord at all. Minutes later, as she folded her unsold baby rompers and stuffed them into a Ghana must-go bag, Nena let out a sharp, pained cry that tore at Ada's chest, making her pick up her phone hurriedly while recording another voice note, her trembling voice whispering, "Please, give me small time. I beg you. My baby is hungry," with Nena's wail echoing in the background before she hit send again, still unaware that both messages had gone to a stranger. The sky had darkened as she climbed the pedestrian bridge, the wind tugging at her wrapper while hawkers below shouted their last desperate calls of "Gala, pure water," and she adjusted her heavy bag, determined to reach home before the landlord acted. Halfway across the bridge, her phone vibrated. She paused, frowning at the screen. Unknown number. She tapped the message slowly, and her heart nearly stopped when she read, "Is that my baby's cry?" Ada froze instantly, blood draining from her face as the Lagos noise faded into a strange, distant hum, her breath trapped in her throat. Before she could gather her thoughts, another message arrived. "Where are you? Stay where you are. I'm coming." Her legs weakened, trembling beneath her. Fear crept up her spine as she instinctively tightened the Ankara cloth around Nene and scanned her surroundings, confusion mixing with panic. Who was this? Why did he say my baby? Was someone watching her? Was she in danger? She took a cautious step backward, gripping her daughter protectively, and that was when she noticed the black SUV, shiny, tinted, expensive, slowly pulling up beneath the bridge with the kind of movement that suggested purpose, not coincidence. Her heart pounded as she tried to convince herself it wasn't connected, but her phone buzzed again. "I said don't move." Ada's entire body turned cold. The message came at the exact moment the SUV stopped moving. Her breath hitched. She swallowed hard, her instincts screaming. Below the bridge, the SUV door opened, and a tall figure stepped out, his movements calm, controlled, almost calculated, though his face was hidden in the shadows, making him look even more threatening. Ada stumbled backward, terror seizing her chest, as she thought of her tiny room in the face me I face you compound, her mother in the village, who would break if something happened to her, and her innocent child who had no idea what danger might be unfolding around them. Her phone buzzed again, and she almost dropped it. She looked down with trembling fingers. "Ada, I can hear your breathing. Don't run." Her heart crashed against her ribs. How did he know her name? She hadn't mentioned it. She hadn't typed it. She hadn't spoken it in the voice note. Tears filled her eyes instantly as her mind raced, her legs shaking so badly she felt she might collapse. She pressed her back against the cold railing of the bridge, her breath quick and shallow as she whispered, "Jesus, Jesus, please." If she screamed, would anyone even help? People were passing but minding their business, as Lagos people always did. She watched the man below lift his head slightly, as if searching for her, and terror swallowed her whole. Then the phone buzzed again this time. A call. Unknown number calling. Ada shook her head violently, refusing to answer. The call rang out. A message appeared instantly. "Pick up. I don't want to scare you." Her fingers twitched. Her pulse throbbed painfully in her ears. And then another message came in, slowly, chillingly, as though the sender knew exactly what fear tasted like. "I think you've just made the most important mistake of your life." The man behind the message, Ada, hurried down the pedestrian bridge, her mind racing faster than her feet as she debated whether to hide, scream, or simply run until her legs gave out, because nothing in her life had prepared her for a stranger who knew her name and appeared in a black SUV like a scene from a Nollywood thriller. Her heart thudded in her chest as she gripped her bag tightly, her fingers trembling, and Nena shifted on her back with a soft whimper that reminded Ada she had no right to panic. Her child depended on her. As she neared the foot of the bridge, she saw the SUV door open fully, and a tall, dark-skinned man stepped out, dressed in a crisp white senator outfit that looked newly tailored, ironed, and smelling of wealth. His security guard, broad-shouldered and expressionless, stood silently behind him, scanning the crowded Oyolegba street with the alert, trained eyes of someone accustomed to trouble. Ada's entire body went still when the man stepped closer and called her name gently. "Ada?" The softness of his tone didn't match the fear drumming inside her. She swallowed hard, dust catching in her throat, and whispered, How do you know my name?" The man raised both hands slightly, a gesture meant to calm her, as if she were a frightened animal he didn't want to startle. "My name is Keen Obiakor," he said quietly. "I'm the CEO of Obiakor Holdings." Ada blinked in shock. The name hit her like cold water. Everyone in Lagos had heard that name on business radio shows, in newspaper headlines, on street banners celebrating youth innovation. He was one of the youngest billionaires in Nigeria, a man whose success stories people used as prayer points. What was someone like that doing here, talking to her, knowing her name? Ada took another hesitant step backward, her voice barely a whisper. "Please, sir, I don't want any trouble." Keen shook his head immediately, stepping no closer than he already was. "You're not in trouble," he said, and there was something in his voice, calm, steady, almost fatherly, that made Ada pause despite herself. "I promise you, Ada, I'm not here to harm you. You sent me a voice note by mistake earlier. I heard everything, even your baby crying." Shame washed through Ada like a bucket of cold water. The idea of a billionaire hearing her desperation, her begging, her child's hunger, it made her cheeks burn intensely. She hugged Nene tighter and lowered her eyes. "I'm sorry, sir. It wasn't meant for you. It was a mistake. I won't disturb you again. Please forgive me." Keen let out a slow exhale, his eyes softening with a sadness Ada didn't understand. "You didn't disturb me," he murmured, glancing briefly at the baby on her back. "That cry, it reminded me of my daughter." Ada looked up, confused. "Your daughter?" His jaw tightened slightly, and his gaze shifted toward the busy street, as if looking into a memory he wished he could erase. "She died 2 years ago," he said quietly. "Still a baby. Barely one. Since then, I haven't been able to forget the sound of her cry. When I heard your daughter, everything came back. Ada's breath caught in her chest. What pain must be hiding behind eyes that looked so calm? The thought softened something inside her that fear had previously frozen. Keen continued gently. No mother should struggle the way you are. Not while I'm standing here watching it. His words didn't sound like pity. They sounded like truth, spoken from a place of genuine loss. Before she could respond, his female assistant stepped forward, her smile gentle, reassuring, like someone familiar with handling emotional moments. She held a neatly sealed envelope in her hand. He nodded toward it. This is for you, he said. Ada stared at the envelope, then at him, then back at the envelope. Her fingers shook as she took it. She opened it slowly, her heart thumping loudly, and when she saw the check inside, 2 million, her knees nearly gave way. She clutched the envelope so tightly it crinkled in her hand. Sir, I can't take this, she stuttered, voice breaking. It's too much. I didn't mean to. You can take it, Keen interrupted softly, gently. Use it to feed your daughter. Pay your rent. Restart your business properly. You didn't ask me for anything. That sometimes help comes to the people who least expect it. Ada's lips trembled as tears filled her, eyes tears she had tried to swallow for years. She had hidden every night she counted coins, every time she watered Gari so it would last 2 days, every time Nene cried out of hunger, and she pretended everything would be okay. But now the tears flowed freely, quietly, shaking her body with relief she didn't know how to handle. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. She sobbed as she wiped her face, her voice cracking. For the first time in a very long time, Ada felt something warm inside her chest hope, rising slowly, like sunrise over Third Mainland Bridge. Nene giggled softly. A sweet, unexpected sound that broke through the tension like sunlight through clouds. Keen smiled at the baby, his eyes softening in a way that revealed a wound still healing. That's better, he murmured. I think she likes me. Ada sniffed and let out a shaky laugh. She's never smiled at a stranger before, she said, her voice still trembling but lighter. Maybe, Keen replied. That means we're not strangers anymore. The words settled gently between them, not forced, not romantic, just real two people from opposite worlds standing on the same ground for a moment that fate had woven together. Ada looked up at him fully then, truly seeing him not as a billionaire, not as a stranger, but as a man carrying his own scars while trying to ease hers. Her gratitude was as deep as her shock, and her fear had dissolved into something soft, warm, unfamiliar. Relief. For the first time in years, the world didn't look cruel. For the first time, she felt like life had given her a breathing space. And as the evening breeze brushed past them, carrying the sounds of Lagos traffic fading into night, Ada realized something she never imagined sometimes. Mistakes don't destroy you. Sometimes they save you.